Greetings. We begin today the third message from the book of 3 John entitled The Counsel. We will dispense with the reading of the text. We've considered the characters and the conflict. Now we're going to look at the counsel given concerning the conflict, and we'll be focusing verses 11 through 14. 3 John 11 says, "Beloved one, you imitate not the evil thing, but you imitate the good thing. The one doing good, he's being out of the God, and the one doing the evil, he's not seeing God with perception." John makes two important points about the one causing the conflict. We should always avoid following a negative example. You might ask, how am I to know that it's a negative example? First, by knowing what God's word says about it. If it's contrary to God's written word, and the incarnate example or pattern, Jesus Christ, we should avoid it. Back in 2 John 7, John said, "For many deceivers are entered into the world who confess not that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh." This is a deceiver and an antichrist. "Look to yourselves that we lose not the things which we have wrought, but that we receive a full reward. Whosoever transgresseth and abideth not in the doctrine of Christ hath not God. He that abideth in the doctrine of Christ, he hath both the Father and the Son." 2 John 9 is stating the same fact that John is inspired to record in 3 John 11. Verse 10 in 2 John continues, "If there come any unto you, and bring not this doctor, receive him not into your house, neither bid him Godspeed. For he that biddeth him Godspeed is a partaker of his evil deeds." In the book of Romans, chapter 16, and verse 17, Paul says, "Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses, contrary to the doctrine which you have learned, and avoid them." To Titus in chapter 3, verse 10, he said, "A man that is a heretic, after the first and second admonition, reject." 2 Thessalonians 3:14, "If any man obey not our word by this epistle," note, mark that man, "and have no company with him, that he may be ashamed." 2 Peter 2:15, "For so is the will of God, that with well-doing you may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men." We find back in the book of 1 Kings, chapter 12, it says, "But he, the newly appointed king, forsook the counsel of the old men, which they had given him, and consulted with the young men which were grown up with him, and which stood before him." The second point that John makes concerning the fact that our conduct betrays our perception of God and his commandments is, to Demetrius he has been testified by agency of all, and by agency of the same particular truth, and we also ourselves are testifying, and you all have known that our particular testimony, it is being true. Demetrius is introduced as an example of one who is following the God-given pattern of conduct. Demetrius is also introduced as the contrast to the evil conduct of Diotrephes. One example to shun in Diotrephes, one example to follow in Demetrius. Demetrius had 3 witnesses to his good conduct: comparison to the truth of God's word, witnessed by all, and testified by John. Diotrephes also had 3 witnesses to his evil conduct: comparison to the truth of God's word, witnessed by the church, and testified to by the Apostle John. Jesus spoke in Matthew 12, verses 33 through 37, about our words and works and our judgment concerning them. He said, "Either make the tree good and his fruit good, or else make the tree corrupt and his fruit corrupt, for the tree is known by his fruit. O generation of vipers, how can ye, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth good things. An evil man out of the evil treasure bringeth forth evil things. But I say unto you that every idle, I-D-L-E word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned.